So, hello for any of those who are new, because I see some new faces today. My name is Trang Pham Nguyen. I'm co-founder of the Happy Healing Shop, and we are a spiritual and lifestyle company that help people on their spiritual journey through events like this. If you want to know more about us, you can visit our website at thehappyhealingshop.com. And we want to elevate voices here, especially diverse ones, because it's really important to deepen our understanding by hearing from other people's perspectives and challenges that they had to overcome to step into their own truth and share their gifts. And we can also support other businesses as well. And we are very, very, very lucky to have two wonderful guests today. And please keep in mind that even though they're located in different parts of the states, their sessions can still be done virtually. So if you have any questions for our guest speakers throughout tonight, you can go ahead and type it in the Zoom chat. And we'll be also posting the playback of this event and the link of our guest speakers and all their websites and social media also on our YouTube channel, thehappyhealingshop.com. So our first guest speaker is a youth development specialist and community advocate. She has over 10 years of experience in social services, case management, community health counseling, and higher education. She focuses on helping to bring calm and peace to the most stressful life situations to those around her. And she's a second degree Reiki practitioner trained in Usui Reiki and Holy Fire Reiki. In her work, she provides a peaceful, safe, and relaxing space for her clients to feel empowered and to do the work necessary to initiate mental, spiritual, emotional growth and healing. So, fueled by her passion and concern for holistic wellness, she empowers clients to build self-awareness and encourages them to make successful life changes. She is the owner of Reiki Reset. So please help me give a warm welcome to Saleemah. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm really thankful to be here this evening. Just sharing my voice, being able to speak with you all. Thank you.
Yes. And can you just start off with telling a little bit about how you grew up and your journey of getting into spirituality and energy healing? Like, was it coincidence and chance you fell into it, or did you kind of were drawn to it and just knew at a young age?
Well, I can't say that I knew at a young age, but I would say as I look back on my life, I have always cared about people. I've always had a heart, a soft spot for people, and I always just try to be balanced and fair and treat others the way that I want to be treated. Reiki, the field of Reiki was fairly new to me about 5 years ago. But through my journey, working as a community health professional, I've worked with youth, homeless. I've worked with people dealing with extreme life crisis, in addition to education. Through my career and serving and helping others, provide resources, knowledge, teaching, it kind of feels like it kind of feels like a natural evolution. Like I evolved from serving in the community to being able to hold a space for those who may be dealing with similar life transitions.
Yeah, that's not an easy job. It can be really emotionally and mentally taxing. And did you was Reiki kind of like an offshoot of, you knew you wanted to help others, you had this in you, but you found like another modality, another way to continue to do it as like maybe like a supplement, or more of just like how did you incorporate or fall into becoming a Reiki practitioner?
I actually feel like Reiki found me. As I stated before, I didn't know what Reiki was about 5 to 6 years ago. During that period of time, I was facing a lot of challenges in my personal life. Family, work, relationships, and I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like I was growing. I was stressed out. I wasn't sleeping properly. And I just really felt like I didn't have peace in my life. So in me identifying, hey, I don't like how I feel. This is not okay. It's not cool. I remember periods in my life where it was more peaceful. And maybe it's because I was less aware, but the more I started paying attention to how I feel, the more I realized that I need to do something or find something to help balance myself out. So that process looked like initially starting counseling. I started off in counseling, speaking about what I was feeling, unpacking things. And in that process, it was great for me to be able to speak about it. But I found that the emotional component of my health, I wasn't able to release emotionally. So a really good friend of mine told me about an amazing Reiki session that she had. I didn't know what it was. I hadn't heard of it, but I said, sounds cool. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I didn't research about it. I was just like, I'm going to go check it out because I trust my friend. So I end up getting a Reiki treatment. And after my first treatment, I felt more peace. I felt more calm. And I was able to tackle the tasks that were already in my life, kind of with a different set of lens on, in regards to what was going on around me, who was around me, what decisions I was making, how those decisions were impacting my life. So I combined Reiki with counseling. And through that process, I want to say, becoming more aware of myself, the roles I played in my life, in my decision making, in my relationships. So I started to take accountability. I started to really look at myself and stop shying away from the hard parts, the things that I know sometimes it's difficult to be honest with ourselves. And it can also be painful. But in my process, I had to look at the things that were painful. I had to look at the things that were embarrassing. And in that process of being truthful with myself, I started to shed. I started to shed emotional baggage. I started to approach situations with more confidence, more patience. And I'm still a work in progress, but through Reiki, I believe I was able to, I feel like, align more with me, with myself, who I actually am, the essence of Saleemah, not the experiences that brought me to the point where I felt like I need counseling and Reiki. So I believe, yeah.
Wow. And I think you just put it so beautifully well. First of all, it's always true. There's always like a friend that goes like, yo, you gotta try out this healer. I had a big transformation, or I had this reader and like, they were so great. And then you just kind of, that's how we just kind of, it's like word of mouth and just like, it spreads like that. And then you're like, no, I could do it too. And just talking about your transformation and unraveling the shadow work, the insides of us that's kind of painful or embarrassing to look at. Would you say part of that was also, and I'm asking this because I feel like I see this in a lot of people that grew up with ethnic families and parents, is there was a lot of generational trauma, or like, let's say, how did your parents also deal with this as you were going through your journey? Or was it your relationship with the family that kind of made you go on this journey, if you looking back on it?
I would say it's really a combination of everything.
Yeah.
And really, I would say it's been a blessing for me to remain open to new things. Because if I wouldn't have, I don't know exactly where I would be right now. If I didn't do the healing work when myself was pulling, saying, hey, you're not feeling well, you're experiencing these things. Paying attention to it, I feel like really made a difference. And has grown into what I'm doing now. I didn't plan to become a Reiki practitioner or have a business in Reiki. I started off as a client. I was offered to learn about Reiki. And I was like, sure, I'll learn. It's great. I can practice on my family and on myself at home. And that was initially my purpose or reason for learning Reiki. Practice on my children and my husband. So what happened is I had a few friends who learned that I actually knew Reiki, and they start asking for services. I'm like, I don't know how to give you services, you know? So what I did was I went out, I bought a massage table, and I started traveling to people's homes. That evolved through word of mouth and referrals to people. I actually created space in my home for serving clients. And when the pandemic hit in 2020, I was no longer able to serve in my home. So I went out and found a space where I was able to hold space for clients during a pandemic, which really, 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 as I look back on 2020, it feels like a blur, but we all went through it. And I'm thankful for all of those that are here who made it through it. But looking back, being able to hold a space for people to de-stress, release tension, and just feel safe. During the pandemic, probably like the second wave of the pandemic, looking back, me being able to hold space for others helped me grow and evolve, because I had to remain balanced and aware of my own stuff in order to serve others. So I'm really thankful for that.
And speaking of practicing on your husband and kid, I have a question here from Monica. It was suggested I start my daughter with Reiki. She's 8 years old. Any suggestions?
Absolutely. My youngest child is 3, and he does get Reiki. Suggestion really would just be to, I would say, talk to your child about it. It's really just a relaxation technique. But you definitely want to have someone that you're comfortable with, someone that's good with children and is able to make your child feel comfortable having a new experience. And definitely, if you want to be in the room, definitely stay in the room, if that'll make your child more comfortable. But yeah, all ages. Reiki is for all ages.
And Latasha here writes, yes, I was a client during the pandemic and it was great and definitely life-changing.
Yeah.
And then when you introduce people to Reiki, what is the reaction that people, what do you see in their before when they come to you and then the after the session?
I've seen a lot of different things. Typically, the most positive thing that I see is with clients who understand that I'm holding a space for them, but ultimately whatever work needs to be done, they are going to be the ones doing the work on themselves. So I see a lot of clients experience more clarity in their lives, more peace. And really, I see a lot of people stepping into like new careers as healers or new jobs, but really becoming more comfortable with who they are as a woman, as a man, just becoming more comfortable speaking and expressing their truths. A lot of times, prior to Reiki, prior to this, I didn't really like conversing. I wasn't comfortable having conversations. So I see as we do this work, we become more comfortable with speaking our truth and owning our truth unapologetically. As long as it's coming from, a place of love, it's all good.
And then finally, also, can you let people know what services or programs or classes that you offer in that case, if they're interested in booking a session with you?
Absolutely. I have a list here. I'm not going to go through all of it. Let's see here. I do offer individual services in person as well as virtually. I offer Reiki for couples, which is really good for creating healthier bonds and releasing unbalanced energy and relationships. I do prenatal Reiki for pregnant moms. That's good for reducing stress and aches during pregnancy. I also work with children. The youngest child I've worked with outside of my son was a 4-year-old. And her mom recently messaged me and said, my daughter is asking to see the relaxation doctor. She's like, I didn't know who it was, but she's like, it was you. She's the lady that helped me relax. I want to go see her again. So that really warmed my heart hearing a 4-year-old ask to come back and see the relaxation doctor, which is me now, I guess.
I love it.
I also offer individual as well as group guided meditations where clients, it can be individually or a group of people, where you can receive Reiki virtually with a guided meditation. And I also do personalized affirmation statements.
And also, finally, what is one thing you wish the audience or anyone watching in with the playback here would like to take away from you? Or what's one thing you wish the world knew about you?
About me personally?
Yeah, could be about you, your journey, anything.
Let's see. One thing, I think I have 3. I mean, I share tools.
Honestly, you could share 3 too. Usually most people
okay.
don't. Yeah.
Well, I create a safe space and provide customized Reiki sessions for clients who are on their journey to wellness. And I share tools that support clients integrating stress-reducing techniques into their daily lives. So Reiki is all about wellness, balance of the mind, the body, and spirit. When those 3 things are balanced, we feel well. When we're unbalanced, we can feel depressed. We can feel emotionless. We can feel like something's off. So our body typically always tells us we'll feel things. It's just important for us to listen and then take action. Don't hold it all inside. You don't have to. There are people waiting to meet you, greet you, love you, and really hold your hand. The biggest thing is being open to something that may be different, but different comes in all different packages, and it can be beautiful, life-changing, transforming. But the most important thing is being open and being willing to invest in yourself and the longevity of while you're here.
That's really important because a lot of times prevention is the key. And, you know, a lot of times people hold it or like wait until it gets bad and it gets a little bit too late. And then trying to fix it, it's just a really difficult when it gets to that point. So last thing is, where can people find you, the relaxation doctor, online?
You all can find me on my website. There's more information about Reiki. There's a back session that just talks more about Reiki, what it is and how it works. And my website is www.reikireset.org. You also can find me on Instagram at reiki.reset. And also, I mean, you can also text me. My number, if you have questions about Reiki, is 773-236-0254. And I'm open to answering any questions during business hours.
All right, I put it right there on the Zoom. I will also put on the YouTube minus the phone number just in case. And there you guys have it. So thank you so much, Saleemah. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, let's see here. Deontay Wayne asked, do you do master training? Do you offer, I guess, like a Reiki training?
At the moment, I don't. But in the very near future, I plan to.
Perfect. All right. Oh, okay. Deontay is in Reiki too. It's awesome. We need more energy healers. Thank you, Saleemah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So our next guest speaker is an astrologer, tarot card reader, actor, dancer, and social media influencer. He expresses himself in a variety of ways to enlighten, inspire, and motivate individuals in this lifetime to never stop dreaming. He's a Pisces sun with a Sagittarius moon and a Libra rising, which makes him a creative, charming, spiritual individual with a drive to explore and spread wisdom with others. Everyone, please help me welcome Joshy.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome. so glad you can make it. And can you let us know just how that's a lot, like astrologer, tarot, getting in the creative. It seems like you're a ball of creativity, acting, dancing. How did it all unfold to where you are today?
Oh, child, a lot has happened. I mean, just growing up, I was just always a creative child. I was a dancer. I did African dance, tap dance, everything in the creative field when you want to pertain to those type of things in elementary. And then I just always expressed myself creatively. And then as I got older, I would say my transformative year was 2019. I was going through a lot during that time. And if anybody know anything about your Saturn return, when you reach your Saturn return, that can be a very major shift happening in your life. So around 2019, I lost my job. I was going through relationship issues. I was going through so much in 2019. And that's actually where I started getting into tarot. I wasn't teaching. I wasn't doing anything of those sorts. I was just watching videos on YouTube. But 2020 was the year that I started diving into like astrology. I started diving into tarot. The start of my journey there for astrology, I've always been interested in astrology, always been interested in the signs. As I was younger, always read the magazine, skipped right to the zodiac portion. But it was sometime in March, I want to say till 2020. I don't really watch celebrities' Instagram lives, but I watched this Instagram live of this beautiful woman. Her name is Novi Brown. She is the actress that plays on the BET show Sisters. She plays Sabrina. She went live one day. I was bored, watched it, and she was just talking about astrology. And from what I know, I always just knew that I was a Pisces, never knew anything further than that. She started going into your birth chart and A, B, C, D, and I was learning so much stuff from her. And then one day she came live and she was like, look, I can't help y'all forever. I can't teach y'all forever. Y'all gonna have to teach yourself. You're gonna have to learn yourself. And I don't know, that just kind of just sparked a flame under me. And I was like, you're absolutely right. And from there on, I just started learning astrology myself, buying books, reading up on videos, and I created my business later on in 2020 in November 5th. I created my website. And I want to say earlier, before I created my website in November, sometime around September, I went to Barnes & Noble and I was just searching around looking for books, and I ran across this tarot deck, and that was my first ever time buying a tarot deck. Tarot was not in my fortune. It was not in my ching chang. It was not in there, but I added it in there, learned tarot, and I think that kind of just took off from there. So 2020 was definitely the year to where I discovered myself when it pertains to astrology, when it pertains to teaching it, tarot. And it was a major shift in my life, and I'm grateful for it because learning about my birth chart, knowing who I am, this is my purpose. I'm basically here to spiritually teach people and guide them when it pertains to finding themselves and diving deep into who they are, realizing that we are all individually different, no matter what you have in your birth chart, no matter what challenges you're going through. Invest in yourself. And that's what I did. I invested into myself, created my own business, tarot, astrology, and it just took off from there. 2020, 2021, it's just been a major shift for me, and I'm thankful. Thank God, thank my spirit guides.
Yes. I feel like a Saturn return is very awfully painful, but years later, when you look back, you see like the transformation or like the cleanup in the life that needed to happen.
Yes.
It's not easy because most of us are going through it or have gone through it. Since you started out, do you notice any difference in what it feels like? How does it feel to be, let's say, a Black person in the metaphysical space? Do you feel like there's still, I won't say discrimination, but it's difficult for you when you see other, let's say, influencers or other people, or you see an advantage?
Oh, it's definitely a disadvantage being Black and being in the spiritual world, especially when you start joining these communities, the astrology community, the tarot community. You start to see how messy it could be in there. You know what I'm saying? You have to really pay attention to who you give your energy to and the community that you surround yourself around, because not everybody's there for you. Not everybody's supporting you. Not everybody's trying to motivate you. They're trying to see what you're doing so they can bite off of you, or so they can stop you or block you. So it has been challenging for me, but one thing about it is I've always tried to maintain who I was and continue to make sure I inspire whoever I can inspire. But the main person I really am inspiring is trying to inspire myself to. I've had these major dreams and I wanted to accomplish that. So being Black and being spiritual, I thank God that I have the following that I have, because it wasn't easy. It was not easy, where somebody that may be Caucasian, they can easily get it. They can easily put some things. Oh, here's a tarot card. This means you're going to get money. No, they play around with people's emotions. And I feel like if you're going to really do something, and when it pertains to spirituality, make sure that you're really about your business and not playing with people's emotions. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people do that on TikTok, Instagram. It became this trend. And now it's like, but it has been challenging. But as I always say, I thank God to get to be where I'm at now. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I don't think people realize what goes on behind the scenes. They just see like, oh, so-and-so has over 200,000 followers and everything. And they think like, oh, they're all good and they're all in a good place. But there's a lot of, unfortunately, like discrimination, fighting, or people with ulterior motives, or I would say it unethical in a way. No one has I don't think there's someone that's officially established ethics guidelines for people in the spiritual metaphysical realm at all. And so there's a lot of people that are vulnerable, like you said, and they'll prey on you, like, you lost your job, here's things you need to know how to get abundance. And it's easy to prey on very vulnerable people. And just a side note for anyone listening in, an ethical reader will never reach out to you for readings. A lot of times those can be scams. We've seen that online, unfortunately.
Because what you said was very important. A reader will never reach out to you, and I don't want people to ever get that mistaken. There's so many scam pages happening.
Yes. We've had people even come out to us saying like, oh, they've been scammed, thinking it was us. And we're like, no. So the best thing we can do is just at least educate people, and you guys can spread the word, especially with a friend that's going through a difficult time. And then, yes, what Monica said, leaving people better than how you found them. That is important. And then I think you covered a bit of what the behind the scenes of your journey of what it was like to get there. What are some top, I know there's this answer can be a very long answer, but I guess I'll say, what is the top 1 to 2 misconceptions people have about astrology, or even tarot? But I feel like astrology, people think this way, and you're like, no, there's more to it.
Oh, child. Just trying to allow people to. Astrology is not a religion. It's not something that you just believe. It's a cheat code to your life, basically. So when you look at your birth chart, and I always tell people, just because you may be a Capricorn or a Libra or a Pisces, that's your sun. How you express your emotions is different. How you may come off to other people is different. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the major misconception is, don't just believe that you're just one sign. You're multiple signs in one. You have every sign in your birth chart. And I think the second one was, astrology is basically not a religion, but I also feel like, well, it's a lot of non-believers. I feel like when it pertains to the non-believers, I get mostly men that are non-believers more than women. Mm-hmm. But I don't ever want to force anybody into learning about astrology or even tarot. If you're willing to learn, that's what I'm just here to do, just to help and teach. But if it's not your feng shui, I totally get it. You know what I'm saying? But yes.
Yeah, the people don't realize how, especially in the beginning when you start off, and people are coming to you, or you say like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing astrology, I'm doing tarot, people say, a lot of times people want you to prove them to you. And then it's a learning journey to realize, because that's happened to us. I think of a lot of spiritual people when they start out, that you're like, later on, you look back and you're like, I shouldn't have even spoken to them because it drained all my energy. It drained me trying to prove myself when they're not going to even be a paying client. So it's definitely like I would say like the newbie mistake of year one. That's what I would say. But yes, there is I think I was looking at the demographic for people in the spiritual and metaphysical wellness is usually females. Because age is 25 and up. Okay. So speaking of astrology and and it's true, you're not just your sun sign, which is what everyone says, like, oh, you're a Pisces, so that means you're this and you fit into this box. So can you give an example? For example, you're a Pisces sun, Sagittarius moon, and Libra rising. So people might just say, oh, Joshy, but you're a Pisces, so you're just sensitive, moody person, and call it a day. But can you, and there's always, guys, there's planets, houses, degrees that give it a different flavor for everyone. So could you explain what it means that even though you're a Pisces, but what does that Sagittarius moon and Libra rising flavor give to you?
So there's a thing called your big three. So if anybody ever asks you, hey girl, what's your big three? You know, that's your sun, that's your moon, and that's your rising. Your sun basically represents the ego, your ego. It basically represents the face that you put out into the world where people see you. So that would be like my Pisces energy. That's my creative energy. That's my fun energy. That's my, like to just live life and dream. You know what I'm saying? And I could be a little sensitive. I could be a little emotional. But then my moon is how I'm going to express myself emotionally, my instincts, my habits. And it's very important to pay attention to the elements. So I have a water sun, but I have a fire moon. So when I am expressing myself, I can be very vibrant. I can be very sometimes aggressive. I can be sometimes loud or blunt. That's like a Sagittarius moon type of energy. That's how you're going to express yourself emotionally. Your moon sign is really important to me because we're all emotional human beings. So we're all working through life or work through our problems based on our emotions. So knowing the element of your moon sign is very important because that's how you can work with yourself or work with yourself emotionally. Your rising sign is basically how you come off to other people. How I like to explain it is, say if you're walking up to somebody's house, you have a screen door. That screen door is your rising sign. This is the first thing that people are seeing before they actually get to know you. So say if you're a Capricorn, but you have a Gemini rising, they're not meeting your Capricorn first, they're meeting your Gemini rising. So when you peel back that layer, behind that screen door is your sun, which is that Capricorn. But then you have the inside of the house, which is the moon. So this is why I say the moon is very important, because once you dive into somebody's moon, you really start to see how they really act, react, respond, so your rising sign basically is the energy that you give off. Your sun is your ego, the face that you put out into the universe, and the moon is how you're going to express yourself when you are happy, sad, drunk, high, all types of stuff. But yes.
And then when people get a reading with you, whether it's astrology or tarot, what is not the reaction, but I guess, or maybe transformation of like before and after? Because are they coming to get clarity, guidance, and then afterwards, how do they feel with the session with you?
After like a birth chart reading?
Mm-hmm. Or even a tarot reading.
The birth chart reading, I really feel like that's a deep clarity, because I'm going through all your planets, I'm going through all your houses, your degrees. So I really feel like with the birth chart reading, I really feel like that brings a lot of clarity to people. Like, oh, I have Aries on my 6th house, so when I go to the gym, I need to work out and do quick. I really feel like that's more of a cheat code. I'm helping you with a cheat code to your life. And as I always tell people, with astrology, it's a never learning. It's a always learning experience. No matter whatever I tell you, somebody else may tell you, there's always something to discover with your birth chart or who you are. And I feel like with tarot, I definitely feels like gives the clarity to people when it pertains to should I leave my boyfriend? Should I go after that job? Should I do this? And I feel like my spirit guides, tarot, I really feel like it gives them that clarity, like, thank you, Josh. So I love both, because both give you the clarity when it pertains to the cheat code for your life and when it pertains to what you need right now in that moment based on what you may be going through. So, yes.
And we have a question here in the chat by Wayne Deontay is, how do you manage your Chiron when that comes around? It kicks my butt.
Oh, God, Jesus. Chiron is...
Well, can you explain what Chiron is? Because that's probably not more of like the usual lingo that people hear.
So Chiron, y'all, Chiron basically represents your insecurities. It basically represents where you were wounded at. It basically represents, where you may have a lot of built up tension that you need to learn. The thing about Chiron is, even though you may be wounded here, as you get older and you go through the trials and tribulations in life, you start becoming a healer in that house. So for instance, I have my Chiron in the second house of finances. As I grew up, I was wounded when it pertains to money. I didn't have the most money growing up with my family. We wasn't poor, but I just always saw money as something not to play around with. Like, it can come one minute and can be gone the next. But the second house also deals with self-esteem. So it makes sense why, as I got older, I became an astrologer or became a tarot reader, because I started helping people work with their self-esteem, work with their values. And how to work with your Chiron is to basically work through your issues, work through your pain. With Chiron, it's something that's always going to affect you. That's something that's just never going to go away. So to find the element that you have it in. So I have my Chiron in water, which is in Scorpio. So some ways I can work with my Chiron is by expressing myself, being vulnerable, journaling, maybe taking spiritual baths, maybe even getting a therapist when you have Chiron in Scorpio, because that's a lot of built up tension that you need to find a way to release in a healthy way. So getting somebody that you can really be vulnerable with is very essential. If you have it in fire, a Chiron in fire, one of the best ways to work with your Chiron is to find a way that you can physically express it. So maybe go into a boxing class, or maybe lighting some candles because it is in fire, working with your spirit guides. I feel like if you have it in air, walking some trails, journaling as well, communicating, working on your throat chakra, and in earth, being with nature. Go outside, go take a walk on a trail, build something, plant something. I feel like if you have your Chiron in the earth sign, your purpose in this lifetime is to make sure that whatever you don't have, know that you will succeed in it, but you got to stop holding yourself back. Because when you have Chiron in the earth sign, it causes a lot of just issues of feeling like, oh my God, I have to complete this, I have to succeed in this, I have to be successful. It causes you to make you feel like you are weak. So I feel like with Chiron in the earth sign, you have to know that it's going to take time for you to progress to where you want to be, but you will get there. It's just all about patience. So yes.
And Vanessa asks, let me see if I get this interpretation right. Some people don't have the privilege or the luck of knowing the details of their birth, which provides more info about them beyond their sun sign. How would you advise them or assist them?
So I have a lot of people like that in my family. Like, for instance, I try to look at my mom's birth chart. She doesn't have her birth time on there. The only thing I can really tell y'all is, one, go back to the hospital that you was born at to see if they have some type of records of your birth certificate. I would say there is a new way, because my friend, I had her order one, but when you do order your birth certificate again, make sure that you ask for the long form, because they will send you your birth certificate, but they'll send you it in a short form. So I think sometimes in the short form, it won't have your birth time. So ask for the long form, so they can give you that. And there is a specific, I don't know what you can call these people. I don't know the name for it, but if you Google it, there's a specific type of person that can help you find your birth time. I believe it starts with a C. I don't want to say the wrong word, but it's a specific type of person that can help you find your birth time. You can just Google it, like help me find my birth time or something like that on Google. I don't know the name of it, but they can definitely help you find your birth time. But I would say recommend going back to your hospital, asking maybe a guardian of yours, or doing some research to see how you can obtain your specific birth time, because that's very important to know your houses and degrees.
Tholen, I hope I pronounced your name right. Tholen asks, how can a healer and coach work together to best serve a client? Any experience with it?
A healer and a coach?
I feel like, is this a question for both? Are both our guest speakers? Because I feel like Saleemah could also.
That's my girl Saleemah.
And Saleemah, feel free to chime in if you have any advice.
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
How can a healer and coach work together to best serve a client? Do you have any experience with it?
I don't have personal experience working with a coach. As a Reiki practitioner and a coach, what particular type of coach, like a life coach, or I would just say I haven't done it, but I don't see it being difficult. Really, it will be about the goals of the client. What is the client working on? What are they trying to achieve? And really keeping communication open, including the client. I would say it really shouldn't be too difficult as if communication is open and everyone's on the same page, working together. It should be easy. I haven't done it, but when I do, I don't see that being a difficult thing.
Yeah, I think I've known some people where they just go to multiple different healers. They might have therapy as well, or maybe a life coach, business coach, but I haven't heard of one where they actually all connect together and talk amongst each other, mainly because they're different businesses, and usually that takes time out of their session to like reach out to other people and kind of cohesively work together. So I've seen people go to different individuals, but not two where they work together, if that makes sense, unless it's part of their business plan. So I hope that helps. Shaw, is rectification the term? Are you asking about regarding birth charts? Let me know.
That's the rectification. They got it. That's what you can use to or hire somebody to help you find your birth time. They know how to specifically do that. That's not my type of cup of tea right there. But if you hire somebody, they can definitely help you. Rectification. Yes.
Thank you, Shaw. I was about to Google it, but I was like, Shaw's on top of it.
I know that's right.
And then finally, where can people find you if they want to book a session with you, or if they just want to give you a follow?
Y'all can find me at JLife20, the at name right there, please. That is my only page, y'all. I have so many multiple fake pages, but if the page doesn't have, I don't know my follow account, but if it doesn't have more than 54,000 followers, that's not me. I would never reach out for you for a reading on TikTok nor Instagram. So JLife20 is my at name, both on TikTok and Instagram. And if you would ever like to book with me for a session, my website is vibe, with Josh.com. So vibewithjosh.com.
All right, I put that in the Zoom chat right there, so feel free to save those links, and also it'll be on the playback information for YouTube as well. So before we end, let me know if there's any questions. Go ahead and feel free to put it in the Zoom chat below. Are you an Alvin Ailey dancer? I took African dance. That's the question for you, Josh, I think, as a dancer.
What is that?
Alvin Ailey is a choreographer. I think he did Lion King. So
no, that's a little too advanced. I did my dancing in elementary school with my dancer, Ms. Zambelli. But no. But that sounds fun. One day, I hope.
Oh, I think Alvin Ailey. Sorry, I used to take some dance history class. I don't think he was. There was someone else for Lion King that did it. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was someone else. It's gonna bug me now. After this, I have to go Google it. It's Alvin Ailey's, but he is a choreographer. So yeah. Just gonna look at if there's any questions. how do you find your stellium? Okay, I think...
Yes. The stellium in your birth chart basically is when you have a house with 3 or more planets. So my favorite website to use is astro-charts.com. So astro-charts, because I feel like that is an easy site to use for a beginner. And you put your information in, you scroll down to your houses, and whatever house you have 3 or more planets in, that is the house that is called a stellium. So that is going to be a major theme for your life. So I have a 5th house stellium. The 5th house is all about entertainment. It's all about dancing. It's all about having fun. It's all about children. It's all about, being like a comedian, stuff like that. So with the 5th house, this is why I feel like I grew up as an entertainer, because I think that was my purpose, to be on stage or to entertain or to be in the spotlight to help people and inspire them. So yes.
And then Monica asks, suggestions how to transition from Oracle to Tarot.
I actually didn't even start off with Oracle. I actually started off with Tarot. But I feel like to make that transition, learn each card, basically. Learn each card, simple. Google. You can use biddytarot.com. You can use, I believe it's called labyrinthos.com. There's so many tarot sites. Look at each card. I believe it's 78 of them. Look at each card. See how it makes you feel. Is it the card vibrant? Is the tarot card dark? Is it gray? And then look up the meaning. You could take some notes. I don't like writing. I don't like reading. So I basically just had to learn it a different way. But yeah, I feel like with tarot, just take your time with it. How I started off with it, I just started giving people free readings on Twitter. I was like, hey, you want a free reading? Boom, boom, boom. So I believe, yes, Labyrinthos has an app. Yes, great app, great site. Love that. That's where you can start. Biddy Tarot is an awesome, I don't know if it's an app, but Biddy Tarot is also an awesome website you can use as well. So yes, take your time with it. Give people free readings, see how it makes them feel, see if it resonates with them, and then take your time and then slowly transition into doing more people. But then that's when you start charging. You don't start giving that for free. You start charging and make sure that, you know your worth and you take your time doing it.
Micah asked, what helped you stay focused when it felt discouraging being an African-American spiritual tarot reader and astrologist, etc., with the challenges that come with being a minority in this type of community? Great question.
I'm sorry, what helped you stay focused when it felt discouraging being African with the challenges that come with being what helped me stay focused? Simply just being me. Simply just entertaining. I feel like what helped me stay focused was when I realized that I was bringing a smile to people's face. I was getting emails and text messages. Oh my God, you helped me. Oh my God, you brought this. That is what helped me stay motivated. I try to stay away from the messiness and the other tarot spiritual people and that's just something that you don't want to drain your energy on, y'all. Y'all really have to make sure that you protect your energy and do not allow the internet to drain you from who you are. You have your talents. You are dope. You are wise. You are talented. So make sure that, I think what helped me stay focused was seeing the light that I was bringing to other people from simply just being me. And I will continue to be me, and I hope that you will continue to be you. So, find your own little space in the room and focus on making that space bigger and bigger to where you are the light in the room, and take it from there, baby.
I feel like you need to make that a quote and put it on your Instagram as a post. That was really good. That was really good. It's very true. That's great for anyone that's starting out, and I hope more people watch the replay of that because that was really good. Okay. Well, I would like to thank both our wonderful guest speakers today, Saleemah and Joshy. Thank you for taking the time with us, our community, to share your story, your journey, and just your gifts and talents. And so please, everyone, give them a like, a follow, subscribe, support them in their business, get a reading with them. And let me include it in the chat all below here. And thank you, Shaw, for researching things so fast. Same thing, Vanessa, too. And Monica, I will say hello to Maria for you. And yeah, and then also in April, we're going to have some more events, such as the Inner Child Healing Workshop and Reincarnation Part 2, where I'm going to put the events link down below as well. So yes, thank you so much, Joshy and Saleemah. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you guys with us here tonight. Kaylee, thank you so much. Both of you are beautiful souls. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. So yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
And love your platform. Thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you.
You got to get your praise too.
It really is important, though. It's this the diversity is really, I think we all can relate to it and the struggles of it, and no one's really doing talks like this, and it's important, you know. And I think in the spiritual community, not even spiritual, but any like entrepreneur community, there's people that, like you said, Josh, they can have the ulterior motive of trying to like one up the other. I've had that with some guest speakers in the past, one or two. So, and you can feel the energy too, where it's not as collaborative. It's more of what can I get out of you? So, but yes, our goal is always just to be more supportive of other people, because there's always plenty to share in the universe, right? Yeah. That scarcity mindset, I gotta watch out for that. Everyone's saying thank you. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. Bye.